this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts. So today I would like to work with the backgrounds that I created for me quite a while ago, at least 2 weeks. You didn't notice that on YouTube because I delayed the posting of my video a little bit. I'm going to link to that video below, how I created these with the new Dinkles. But I took a break from paper crafting because I was preparing various decorations for my upcoming wedding, and I also started on my wedding dress, which I'm going to sew myself. I've cut the fabric pieces, but I haven't sewn it yet. But I was getting withdrawal symptoms, so I thought, no, I'm going to take a little bit of time out now, probably not more than half an hour, and I'm going to have a play with these backgrounds. When I created the blue ones, there's this one and there's the other one, I immediately thought about the Lavinia Stamps creative challenge for this month, and it's sea themed. Don't ask me exactly what it's called. So I thought I'd get my 2 sea themed stamps out that I have got, which is Sebastian the Seahorse and Yolanda. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. These are the only sea-themed stamps I actually have of Lavinia. I know they do fish, but I never bought those. I do, however, have a few neutral stamps that I thought might work with this under the sea theme, which is the Mystic Swirl. I really like that. I don't think I've used it yet. And I've got the hanging lanterns, and I thought even these might work like seaweed. So I'll have a look if I use these. As I said, it would just like this to be a play today, and I want to keep this simple, as in just stamping and colouring, maybe a bit of feet embossing, but as I said, I want to keep it simple. And then I will create another card with another background. And I want to make this a bit more elaborate when I've got a bit more time. So I start off by stamping the seahorse. So I'll get my stamping platform on. I should have done that before. I prefer using this little one now. I've got this Tim Holtz one, but this is the one from Creative Craft Products, and it's so much lighter, and it's got these springs, so you can position the stamp and then stamp it down, and I really, really prefer this to the other one. It seems to take less effort, less strength. So just putting this in now with the magnets. And I think, yeah, I'll start with the seahorse. I really like this one. It's one of the first stamps I purchased because it's really pretty. And I know I want to do something with the background, so I'm just thinking actually whether I want to offset it a little bit. Maybe to the right here, so it's got a bit of space as well to look at. By the way, I've cut this down to just under 5 by 7 inches to match my cardstock, my base card. Oh, problem with these is I haven't used that in a while, and I was a bit naughty and didn't put it away straight away, so it is actually not as sticky as it should be. So, and normally I would stamp this in black, but I recently purchased some new VersaFine clearings, and I think I just try and stamp him in blue. I think that would be really nice. Hope I'm not off screen there. So get a good lot of ink on him. I'm pressing them down, just getting the pressure too. Sorry for the noise. And I hope it's not falling off when I'm taking it down. No, very good. Let me show you. And it's quite a good contrast actually, but I love the fact that you can still see the Dinkles in the background. So I shall take him out, because whatever other stamping I'm doing, I'm not going to use this stamping platform. I'm going to use just stamping blocks, or maybe even my fingers if it's just for textures. I'll show you in a moment what I mean with that. Just getting a piece of paper to put underneath. So my original idea is to just colour him in a little bit, because the VersaFine Clear can be used with watercolours. I'm just going to use some of my LAVINIA Almonds inks. This is the Blue Atoll. So I'm putting a bit on the tile here on the side. I've got the Mermaid. I put out the dark denim, but I don't think I'll use it for that. I'll use a bit of the Blue Lagoon. And my idea is just to colour him in a bit, just to basically give him some shape and not to have him in the same colour as the background. There's actually some green in there. I might even use a bit of green in the background. I've got the Lime Punch here. That might be quite nice, maybe especially on the head. So all I'm doing is just, as you can see, I'm just stamping this off here, and then I'm just adding some water. You can either put the water on the brush, or I'm just spraying it on here. And then I'm just using an ordinary paintbrush. Start with this here and just colour him in. And what should happen as well, because the dinkles are water reactive, they will move around as well a little bit. So I don't know if you can see the difference, but it basically gives him some shape and differentiates him from the background, if that makes sense. So I'm going to speed this up for the video. All I'm doing is just randomly putting colours in. I'm not putting a lot of thought to this. And yeah, as I said, I'll speed this up for the video now. So that was very quick. That took me under a minute, I think. I'm just thinking, just put a bit of light on. It is daytime. It should be light enough. It's hot enough outside, but it's just overcast a little bit. So whilst I was painting this, by the way, I told you last time, I think I didn't use watercolor cardstock. It's just a heavyweight cardstock. So it does bend a bit, but once it dries, it'll be fine. But whilst I was painting this, I thought it would actually be quite nice if I used my homemade mica watercolors. So I'm quickly getting those, and I'm going to link below to a video where I explain, I can't remember whether I show you in the video how I made those, because I think they would be really nice on the seahorse. These are my homemade mica watercolors. I just used some gum arabic, some mica powders and some water, and mixed these, and I bought an empty palette to put these in. So again, all I need to do is just add some water in these, and again I'm going to use the blue and a bit of the greenish ones. I'm using the same brush, I've only wiped it, I haven't even cleaned it properly. I just want to add some sparkle, basically some shimmer to the seahorse. As you can see, again, I'm doing it randomly. I try not to do too much to the paper because I don't want the fibres to stand all up, as I said, because it's not watercolour. I'm going to just dab it on a little bit here. Some of this already mixed green. A bit more water there. So I hope you can see how this picks up. I will add some sparkles, sorry, what's it called? Forgot now what they're called. Sorry, stickles over this in the end. So again, that will blend in a bit more, but I just like a bit of shimmer there. If you've got more time, obviously you can be a bit more precise there, but as I said, I wanted to keep this really, really simple and quick. So my idea now was to use the stamps to create a big bit of a background motif. And I have taken out my Midas by Spectrum Noir inks, because again, Lavinia have some metallic inks in their shop. I bought these years ago and I quite like these because they're quite vibrant, whereas other metallic inks really seep into the paper and don't stay vibrant. So I thought this would be nice to use for the background. So as I said before, I'm not going to use the stamping platform. I'm just going to use an acrylic block. And I'm just contemplating whether I want to have a base of a different colour. I might just do that. I think, as I said, I'm playing around. I haven't planned much of this. I'm using the VersaFine Clear Warm Breeze. So I will stamp one tall one on here. And I will do another one next to it, but a bit lower, and maybe one on the side here. If you wanted to, you could have a play with second generation stamping. If you don't have metallic inks, you could create a different texture, different look to that with different inks, different ink colours. Yeah, I'll do one on the side here as well, just off to the side, to have this sort of continuous look of these. They're seaweeds now for me. See, I could do a bit at the bottom, but I think I'll leave this free. I might just do a little bit of stamping here at the bottom where it ended. Yeah, that's better. So I'm quickly cleaning this off. I'm always guilty of not cleaning my stamps straight away, and then sometimes it's tricky to get the ink off. So I will just contemplating whether I use silver or the gold, or I've got a rose gold. I think I'll stay with silver, stay with the cooler tones. So it doesn't look like much. Don't know if you can see the shimmer, but it is comparably solid and nicer. So I think I just stamp now in between those. At first I thought I'd do it as a shadow underneath, but I think I just offset this properly. Oh, it's not as solid as I thought it would be. So it's nice. But it's not as enough texture. I think what I will do, I'll leave this to dry for a moment, but I think I will actually heat emboss in silver over this. But what I will do, whilst this is drying, I've got this See a Fairy Make a Wish stamp, and I thought this would be nice just to give some texture in the background and fill in the areas a little bit. And with this one, I'm not going to use an acrylic block, I'm just going to use my fingers, because that will allow me to have this very uneven. And I will be using the silver again, because I just want a hint of something. And if you're not sure and you don't want to overstamp on your seahorse, you can just use some scrap paper. Just tear this a little bit, just like that. And I'll just tap it on like that. I should have done it straight, really. It looks a bit weird now. So, and again, you can do some second generation stamping. I might just do a little bit at the bottom here. And I just ink up a different part of the stamp. Oh, I've got a thread there from my sewing. bit on the side, and this only stamps them where you apply pressure, and a bit here at the top. I hope I'm not going off screen in the meantime. Apologies if I do. So with this one's actually a bit more solid than this one is. Maybe because I've just cleaned it with water. I might give it another try then and see if that works better now. That is possible that it hasn't gone down properly. If obviously I had used my stamping platform now, it would be easy to just place it in the same spot, but it doesn't matter. So I'm just having a look. This was the top, and that's sort of there, so I'm just pressing this down again. And I've over-stamped a little bit as well. It doesn't matter because we are under the sea, so I think I'll just leave it like this, but not my best one, obviously. So I'll have a think what I'll do with that. I might just do some heat embossing over the top in colour, but for that I will have to dry this completely now, so I'll take a quick break from filming and I'm going to dry this properly now with my heat tool. So I hopefully have heat set this colour properly, and there is one way of finding out whether it is dry enough so you don't have any problems. First of all, I'm going to use my anti-static powder tool, go all over it, and then what I'm doing is I'm going to pour, without applying any embossing ink, I'm going to apply or dip this card into the embossing powder, and if I've got any residue from the ink, this will stick and I can see exactly where it's not dry yet, and that is quite a lot. I could decide on using that as a feature if I like. I'm just contemplating it. Obviously I'm covering quite a bit here of the blue plants, but it might actually be quite nice if I did that. And I sometimes do like, you know, these sort of, when we think it's accidents that happen, sometimes they create the nicest effect. So I think I might just leave it at that. If you're watching this as a tutorial and you think like, oh, she hasn't got a clue what she's doing, no, because it is a bit like that, because I'm playing, and sometimes the best things happen when you play, when you don't think too much what you're doing. So if you think like, oh, I don't like this, you're welcome to switch off, but I actually like this now. I hope you can see what I'm doing. What I will do though, I will take away, I think, the embossing powder from the eye, because I'd like to keep that blue as it is. So you can always take it off. And I think at one point, but I might just apply some foil. I need to do something about this here because it is a bit splodgy, and I just wanted to have it as a bit of shine on it. But as I said, I might just add some sprinkles. So yeah, I think I'm just going to heat set this now. Maybe do a bit more down here. And I think once that is heat embossed, it'll be really cool. Yeah, okie doke. So I shall do this off camera again. Make sure when you use your heat tool, you heat it up first, and then you put your heat tool onto the embossing powder so that it basically heats it up straight away and it doesn't blow it away. On this one, I think this bit has been dry, so there's nothing there, but that's fine. I might even add my sentiment on there later. So I shall quickly do this now. So this is all heat set now. I really love the shine, and I don't mind that I've overstamped here. It just looks like a big bundle of seaweed, and I think that's fine. And I've still got the blue here. I think what I will do though, because this is covered now in silver, I will stamp another blue one here and maybe a bit there. And I've also got my swirl stamp ready. I want to have a bit more texture on the top here. And I just go back in with my called Sea Breeze? No, Warm Breeze. I really like this colour. So just to have this here on the top. Again, I find these swirls go really nice with the bits here on the seahorse. There you go. Hope you can see this. That's really nice. So I will just have a little bit here on the bottom. Maybe sort of coming in like this. I might even have, just to frame it, I'm thinking whether I should have a bit on the top there. I think I'll do that as well. Sometimes it's nice to build a frame with the stamps, and sometimes it's nice to have some space as well. But if I just bring that in here, that will frame it nicely. As I said, I'll do one more bit on the bottom. And again, you can vary which bits of the stamp you use. I'm just using this top bit again, but you could use the other end if you wanted to. Just have a play, and there is no right or wrong. It's whatever you fancy, and sometimes just going for it gives the best results. So I'm just, as I said, I'm just coming in with this one again. Just going off the edge here. Yeah, and this ties this in again with this side, which makes quite a difference. So all that's left for me to do now is just to add some stickers in the middle here. I don't have many colours. I'll just find one. I will just use my clear ones if I find them, or I've got some green ones. Bear with me. So I found them. So I think I'll just use a mix of both. All I do for that is I'm getting my tile out again, and I'm just squeezing a bit onto the tile. You can use an old acrylic block if you want to, some packaging, anything really. And I'm just dabbing my finger into this and just apply this on top. And that will blend in the mica powders a bit more, and you can't see that they're actually a bit splashy. So, sorry, spotty, speckled. If you find you've got more stickers on your finger than on the actual image, you can use a brush. Just make sure you clean your brush afterwards properly, quickly, before the glue in the stickers dries your brush up. So this allows me to get a bit closer to the edge. The green is really nice actually. Pops a bit on the blue, but it also ties in again with the dinkles in the background. So I just want to fade this out a little bit. So I hope you can see this, how this catches the light. So, and I think I just want to do one more thing just to finish this card, and that is to use my blending brush and just go around the edge just to frame this. And I'm just using one of my Lavinia Elements inks again. I think I'll use the Blue Atoll. Just get my blending brush. Might not be dark enough. I'll just give that a try now. Nope, that won't be dark enough, so I shall use another one. I will use the Blue Lagoon then, I think. I don't want to use the dark denim. Obviously, if you've got the Tim Holtz inks, you might find one in that selection. I've mentioned it before, I don't have many inks. So sometimes don't have the exact colour I'm looking for, but close enough. So this just creates a nice frame that sort of ties the whole picture in. Just need to be careful. I think I've got some embossing powder on my ink pad now. So as a disclaimer, it might be an idea to do that before you do the embossing. There we go. I'm going to take this away. There it is. Sea-themed card with heat embossing. The metallic ink, that's almost disappeared. That's the metallic ink there, where it did actually work, whereas the other obviously is now covered in embossing powder. Yeah. If you like this card, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, as I said, I've got other videos coming up for these backgrounds with the Dinkles. You might want to subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I encourage you to have a play with your supplies and just, yeah, be creative. Don't overthink what you're doing. Just get your materials ready and just have a go. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.